Huh?
Okay, so from your batch, only one student dropped me a mail regarding the doubt in runners, that why are we having runners in Spring Boot only? Why are we having runners in Spring Boot only? And I have sent the reply also. Hope you have checked. First of all, only Spring Boot is not having runners. Even we have runners in Java as well, right? What is the runner of Java? Huh? Runnable. Yes, the static block is the runner of Java. Very good, Nitin. The static block is the runner of Java. Know how or not? Know it? No? From where the execution of Java starts? Wrong answer. So if I just save this class and run it, we know the output, right? We will get the output as main method here. So we'll just save it randomly here itself. So here we are getting the main method. Our program not every time starts with main method. It can start with something like this. This is called static block. The static keyword and the curly brackets. And here also we can check all the configuration and say everything is fine. So the static block is running as first, that is everything is fine. Then main method is running, right? I hope you might have discussed this in core Java. There is a topic, static member execution flow. Static member execution flow. So it is there. So we don't have runners in Spring Boot only, it's in Java also. That is static member execution flow, core Java part. I think around encapsulation or abstraction like that. Around your reflection API. Sorry. So we have runners in Java as well. And now doesn't matter where this static block is attached. It can be before main method, it can be after main method, doesn't matter. Its position, it doesn't matter. This static block, because you know this static is related to memory and it will be loaded into the class first, right? JVM architecture, class loader and all, so this will be loaded as first. So doesn't matter who is your main method, when static is coming, it's not the main method, then it is the first method to execute. Okay, let's come down to hibernate now. So, okay, these things. So what I have done, I'll open the notes as well. So in the notes, if you check, only the property of driver class name, property of connection URL, username and password. Hibernate follows a set pattern that here you have to write connection dot. Now don't ask why we have to write. It's the syntax. Connection dot URL, connection dot driver underscore class. Same way, these are the four required things that I have given, and same thing mentioned there. Now we will test our application. So for testing, we have to do this. Now, how we will do the testing of Hibernate connection? Hibernate provides one class, that is configuration class. That is configuration class. This particular class is used to create the connection with database. Configuration class provides one method, that is configure method. That is configure method. So how the typical configuration will look? So at first we need the object of configuration class. Now using the object of this configuration class, we will try to configure the Hibernate. So I will say cfg dot configure. Cfg dot configure. Now what we have to configure? So here we will mention something that as we have given the configurations in an external file that is placed in class path, that is src main java. So we have to give the path of that file. Generally, whenever you have files in your class path, that is src main java, that are available with slash. Now, if you have any package folder, go like that. If you directly have the file, so I will give the name directly hibernate.cfg.xml. So in app.java, I am doing the same thing. What I am doing? The same thing. Configuration cfg equals to new configuration and using the configure method. Even you can do the method chaining as well here. So here itself you can say configure configuration cfg equals to new configuration dot configure. There also you can say like this, and here you can provide the path. But I don't want to create mess here. So cfg dot configure, and I am trying to configure this particular file, right? And we will just start our application. So here something like this we are getting. Hibernate will give its things in red color, so don't think that they are the errors. Hibernate generally gives you the console output in red color. You can change it using Eclipse, but default is this one only. Now we have tested this. Now these are the four properties to obtain connection with the database. Now here you have to actually tell your Hibernate about your relational database relational database type. At least give a hint to Hibernate that I am working on this particular database. So for that, let's mention after testing the connection, what we are doing. In the next step in hibernate.cfg.xml file, we will add some advanced properties. We will add some advanced properties. What will be those advanced properties? So here at first a property tag, then property name equals to this is the format whenever I want to add any property here. This is the format. Yes, of course. So if you remember yesterday I was adding something as dialect, something like that I was adding. So Hibernate CRUD, this is our project, and here we have Hibernate core. These are the packages that are generally given to you by Hibernate, right? All these. So whatever properties actually we are adding, they are somehow stored or somehow defined or somehow implemented in all these particular packages itself. Means we are not doing anything externally. Even this DTD also I have taken from the package of Hibernate itself, right? So whenever we are writing something, you don't have to go outside actually. Now, let's understand dialect property. There is a property that is dialect property. Dialect property in Hibernate is used to provide the necessary information about your database. It means that you have to tell Hibernate that which database is used in this particular application, right? You have to just tell that what is the database that you are using in this particular application, and what is the property for telling that. That is called the dialect property. That is called the dialect property. So let's try to add here. The property name will be hibernate dot dialect. Hibernate dot dialect. What will be the property value? Now this property value will be depending upon your database. This property value will depend on your database. If you are on MySQL, so org dot hibernate dot dialect org dot hibernate dot dialect and dot mysql dialect. So org dot hibernate dot dialect dot mysql dialect. This is common. You just have to tell about your particular database. Let me add for Oracle also. Again, you will start singing the song of Oracle. So whenever you are working with Oracle, so whenever you are working with Oracle, it will be same. Hibernate.dialect will be the same one. You just have to add org.hibernate.dialect and you have to add your version of Oracle whatever you are using. If you are using any Oracle version less than 12c, then you have to write Oracle dialect. Oracle dialect. If you are using any version which is greater than or equals to 12c, you are using 21, right? So for all of you, Oracle 12c dialect. Oracle 12c dialect. This one. Now it depends on your database configurations as well. It depends on your database configuration whether you have particular driver or not. So you can check it or else you can use Oracle 12c dialect. It is the universal, so it will work with your database. As I am on SQL, MySQL, so I'll just add this particular property here. Relational database type. So here I will provide the dialect. All the database will have different dialect. Don't think that dialect will be same, right? All the database. Very good. Now next thing that we have is, so this is the property that we will add. In the next step we have to tell our Hibernate that how will it create, how will it create tables, how it will create tables. For that, how Hibernate will create table. For that, we have one property, and the property name is HBM2DDL dot auto. What is the property name? HBM2DDL dot auto. You can write like this also, Hibernate dot HBM2DDL dot auto, or directly you can write. Both will supported by Hibernate. HBM to DDL. HBM means Hibernate to data definition language. How Hibernate will process the tables. Now it can have some of the values. What are the possible values? By default, now here I will mention, generally we will write either update or create. Now there are some of the meanings. HPM2DDL dot auto can have following values. First value is none. It means that Hibernate will not create your table. Hibernate will not create your table. If you are giving value none to it, it will not create your table. If you are writing create here, the value of this particular part, if you are writing create, Hibernate will delete all previous tables. Hibernate, what it will do, it will go to database, it will check whether this table is available or not. If it is available, it will delete that table. Doesn't matter how much data is available there. How much data is available doesn't matter that how much data is available. It will always create new table. So Hibernate will delete all previous table and create new every time. So this is not a good approach, right? That what if we stored a lot of data and all the data is lost? Update will, or in update, what Hibernate will do? Hibernate will check if the table is available or not. If the table is not available, it will create, otherwise, okay, it will create, that's it. Means update will not delete any table, but create method will delete the table. So that is HPM to DDL property will work. So at first, let's write it. Property name is HBM to DDL dot auto. At first, I will write create here because now we don't have any data. We are just testing our files and all those. That's it. Now there is only one last prop. Actually, two we have to add, but as of now, only one. That is, if you want to check how Hibernate is writing query, if you want to check that how Hibernate is actually writing your query, for that we have a property. This is the comment, right? If you understand this, uh, so property name is show underscore SQL, and I will keep its value as true. That show me whatever query you are writing. So that's it. The configuration of Hibernate is done. In maybe a first or second time, you might feel it. Even I am saying that. What is this? All these steps we need to perform because these all looking little bit difficult. Even I was about to say the same thing that if only one or two times they might look difficult, because in the disadvantage of Hibernate we have written that it has a steeper learning curve, but after a period of time they will become, as I don't find it difficult now, right? For me it's like ABCD, so it will become for you too when you are doing it by yourself. So like this, and again we'll go back. If we want to check that how Hibernate is writing our query, this is not mandatory by the way. It is only when you want to check how Hibernate is writing your query. So in that case, you can add this property. And this is not mandatory. The property name is show underscore SQL, and property value you can give as true. That's it. It's not mandatory by the way. If you want to check how Hibernate is writing your query, that's it. So as of now, the configuration of Hibernate is all completed. The configuration of Hibernate is completed now. Now, what we will do? Now we will start creating classes and check how Hibernate is. For Oracle also you have to write show underscore SQL. I'm not writing MySQL here. I am writing SQL. SQL means structured query language. Right? You have to write show SQL only. Now we will start creating classes and check how Hibernate is creating table without writing query. So we'll check what is the database that we have given here, Hibernate CRUD. So let's open MySQL client here. Use Hibernate CRUD. So do we have any table inside this? Empty set, no tables. So now we will start creating our class because that is what we have seen in Hibernate, right? In our Hibernate, this is what we have seen. That what we will do, we will just create a class and class will be having these and Hibernate will create table for the class. So we are going to see this now. So in the next step, in the base package, create a new class and name it as employee and give some private fields. Give some private fields like ID, name, mobile number, salary, email, mobile email, salary, that's it. And generate getters and setters. No, update will not update the table like that. We will see all the things. Just wait here. I will tell you the difference between create and update. What is the actual difference? So let's do this thing. So within the base package, that is org.hibernate, I will create a class of employee. and giving all the private fields inside this, that is private int id, private string name, private int, you can take anything, let's take string for mobile number, private string email, and private int salary. So these are the private fields that I have taken and just generating their getters and setters. That's it. Now, this is completely a Java class, and annotate the class, annotate the class with at the rate of entity annotation. I think I have already told you about this entity yesterday, that Hibernate will treat all the entity classes as the database tables, and in all the and out of all the field over any over any field we have to add at the rate of id annotation, because Hibernate will throw error if we are not declaring the primary key. So what I did, over my class I have written at the rate of entity, and from which package entity will come, Jakarta dot persistence dot entity. Generally we call them as JPA annotation, and this id only I will create as at the rate of id, that the employee id will be the primary key of mine, means not null will be applied. These private field we are defining generally, not according to database. Of course, I'm not even talking about database. I'm just saying define a class and define the field. If you have some other field, define them according to Java, not related to any database. Now what I will do, nothing, just run the application. But before running the application, now there is a twist. So now in the main class, we have to instantiate three things. For working with Hibernate, there is a requirement that you should build a session factory. You should build a session factory which will manage all the sessions. You have to create a session which will manage one particular, or you can say which is a particular session, and then transaction, and then transact. All these things are provided by Hibernate package. Transaction. So let's create them one by one. So at first I will create session factory sf equals to, but we have to, whenever you are importing the session factory, import it from Hibernate package. Okay, don't import it from MySQL one. How to build this session factory? So the configuration class CFG object is there. It will be used to build the session factory. So who is building the session factory? The configuration class is building the session factory. Now we have to open a session. Now session factory will open the session. Using the configuration class, we are building the session factory. And using the session factory, we are opening the session. And at last, we have to add transaction. And who will begin the transaction? Session. It's very simple if you understand it. The configuration class will build the session factory. Session factory will open the session and session will begin the transaction. That's it. These are the three things that I will do in my main class. All these things should be imported from org.hibernate package. Otherwise, you will get lot of errors. So, like this, you have to add the things. Now, what we will do, we will just run our application. There is a very big error in our application, but let's run. So, when I am running my application, now Hibernate is saying lot of things. I know this error already. So, the first two line, same we are getting, then something like this, something like this, something like this. So, lot of things. And here at first we are getting this unable to resolve name. In dialect there is a problem, and if we scroll down, unable to load class, this is a problem. Already know about it, this one. Now already I told you that in your Eclipse you can search about any class. So here we should search about the dialect class because it will be available only. So let's check them. So this is the one particular class name, MySQL dialect, right? In which package? org.hibernate.dialect and MySQL dialect. And what wrong we have done there? This Y. I intentionally did that so that we can check how to find your dialect. Now, if you are working on any database, any, now you are on Oracle, so just start typing Oracle dialect. So directly, okay, now it is updated. You have to write Oracle dialect only, not 12c. So package name is org.hibernate.dialect.oracle dialect. If you are on H2 database, H2 dialect. For H2 database, H2 dialect. That's it. You can search it here itself. Whatever is we are using in program is available in your jar files. Now again we will run our application, but again there is one more error. So we are running and okay, this time it is not showing that error. So done. We were writing one thing that if there is any class marked with at the rate of entity, so Hibernate will create its table, right? Hibernate will create its table, but where is the table? Table is not there. Table is not there. Even table will not come. The reason is in Hibernate dot cfg dot xml class file, we have to map all our entity classes. Whatever you are doing related to Hibernate, you will do in that file only. So go to that file, and in this file, after this property, mapping the classes, mapping the classes. So just there is a tag mapping, and you can give class equals to whatever your class name, fully qualified. So com dot hibernate dot employee, com dot hibernate dot employee. We'll start the application once again. And Hibernate is writing one command, drop table if exist employee. Means this is the SQL command, by the way, that if in database there is any table named employee, delete that. Why? Because our HBM to DDL method is create. At first it will delete all the tables, then it will create again. So now Hibernate is writing query, create table employee, id integer not null, because we marked this field as not null. Email varchar 255, because you are not defining the length. Mobile varchar 255, name varchar 255, primary key will be our id. And now we will check the same table in our database. So yes, we have one employee table. Now let's try to insert into employee. I will add some values, one, and let's check the description of this table first. So ID, salary, email, mobile, name. You have to give the values in the same format. So 1 comma 10,000 and something random value. Just random value I am keeping. And now we will fetch the data from database. So here we are getting one row. What I will do, again I will start my application. Drop table if exists employee and create table. If I am checking data in my table, no data. Why? Because Hibernate deleted the previous table and it has created again. So if you have 10 rows, 20 rows, 30 rows, doesn't matter if you have 1 lakh rows as well. Hibernate will delete that and create it again. Sometimes it is useful also, and sometimes it's not. We'll see how it is useful. Now in hibernate.cfg.xml, this hbm to ddl.auto, instead of create, I will make it as update. I will make it as update. And now we will start application. And this time it has not written the query for creating table. Why? Table is already present in database. Table is already present. What I will do, I will say drop table employee. Manually I am deleting the employee table, and now we will run our application again. Now it is writing query for creating the table like this. So this is how update work. It will check if table is present, it will not delete or not create. Table is already present in database. Now what I will do to this employee field, let's add one more column, private string address. Private string address. Just generate the getter setters of address as well. And now we will run our main app again. And you see the magic. Alter table employee, add column address. So what update method is doing? Alter table employee, table was already present, means it is matching the column number as well. Let's check our description of employee table here. So address field is coming, but there is a problem in this update that we face sometime. Now I will remove the address field. Now I will remove the address field. We will start the application again. And this time no query. Address field is still there. So whenever you are updating the schema of your class and you are adding a new column, update method will add, but it will not delete that. Understood the difference between create and update now? Create will every time create. Delete the entire table, check the columns, and do it again. Ravi, now understood? Update method, what will be the problem in update method? It will add your column if you are adding, but it will not remove your column if you are removing. So whenever you are removing the column, at that time we have to do something else. That obviously we will see what we have to do. So that is how we can create. Now, what I will do, I will just write create here again. And start the application. Check the description of table. Now address field is removed. Even there also we have some methods, but let's understand this create and update only. Now we are playing with this. How to add data without writing any query. Adding the data of first employee. So already Hibernate is a ORM tool, means we are just going to create the object of employee. That's it. Employee equals to new employee and set the values. So I will say e dot set id as 101 or any id you can give. E dot set name as Srikar. E dot set email Okay, so this is one particular employee now. That's it. This employee is the save E. And here, by the way, it's deprecated as of now, right? This method is deprecated. We have other method as well. We'll discuss those. So I am saying to my session that save the employee of this data of this employee, and I will run the app. However, this data will not go to database, but let's say what is going on. So again, drop table if exists, create table employee ID null this that this. Data is not going to database, right? Because it is not writing query insert into, because you are asking your session to save the employee. You are not committing the transaction. So after saving the employee to session, you can say ts dot commit. ts dot commit. You can commit the transaction. Now I will start the application again. Query written, insert into employee, email, mobile, name, salary, ID. These are the values. Let's check it in our database whether if we got the data or not. So select asterisk from employee. So we got all the data, right? We got all the data. That's it. Now what I will do, I will just comment out this first employee, and we will create one another employee. That is E2, 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 some random ID. Okay, and session dot save E2. Session dot save E2. Now create method will create problems for you. If we check the data in our database, so we are only getting the data of second employee. Why? Because when table was containing the data of first employee, Hibernate deleted that table, because the method you are providing is a create method. So let's make it a update method. We will make it update method. So second employee is already available. We will remove the comment of first employee, and E here, just start. So this time only the query for inserting the employee is written there. We don't have any other query working here, right? If we check within our database, we are getting the both employees. So that is how basically Hibernate works. That is how basically Hibernate works. How many SQL query you are writing in this application? Zero. We are writing zero. Now let's say I want to update the salary of Shrikar from 30,000 to 50,000. So how? Nothing. Go back. Shrikar is a object E. Keep the salary as 50,000. Same session dot save E. Update is also there, by the way. You can use update. And here we are getting error. It is trying to insert the values again and it will find a duplicate key. So let's try to update it. So we'll say session dot update E. Update employee, set email to this, mobile to this, whatever. Let's check the values. And here salary got updated. Nothing. We are just playing with the Java objects now. We are not even talking any particular thing about query. There is no query here, right? There is no query here. So that is how basically Hibernate will work. Hibernate is not completed now. This is just the basic of Hibernate, that how it will work. So let me edit the documentation. After mapping it, now if we run our application, it will create the table in database. Understood? Understood? Wow. So there is a actually game of annotations here. So first of all, we will see how many annotations we can keep here. Now we will just play with it. So I will make it from update to create so that a new table is getting created every time. Right now we are just using only two annotation. First is for primary key here without ID. Let's say you are not writing anything as ID. Can you please provide notes for difference between create and update method in Hibernate? What is this even a question? I still not done with Hibernate, right? I am still writing. And yes, if we are working with Hibernate without Spring, so this session factory and all these things we have to provide every time. Every time means this is a shared session, by the way. You have to create it once. And at last you can close the transaction and close the session. at last. Now, what I will do, I have removed at the rate of ID from the class. There is a class with at the rate of entity. Now, let's run our application. Error. Already expected error. And this error will say entity com dot hibernate dot employee means your employee entity has no identifier. Every entity class must declare or inherit at least one ID or embedded ID property. Means you should have a primary key. Without primary key, Hibernate table is cannot be created. So we have to write one field as the primary key. What if we are not having any primary key? Generally, there will be a case. Let's say you are just taking 2 3 information from the students, their name and their email. Now what can be the primary key in this case? Email. If there are two brothers and they are giving the email address of their father as they are minor, then email is not a safe choice every time, because if you are a minor you have to give email address of your guardians, right? So email cannot, if there are two siblings sharing the same class, so email cannot be a safe option as well. Then in that we have lot of generation strategies. It will generate a primary key for you every time, that is also option. But how it will generate, so that is a game of annotations. We will see lot of annotations here. What is the table name in my database? Employee. The table name is employee. It's a very big name, right? What if my class name is something like this, that public class employee of Naresh IT, and this will be the table name, that employee of Naresh IT. So very big table name. How can we control it? For that we have one annotation. So over the class I will write one annotation as table. I will add one table annotation, and these are provided by JPA. They are not provided by Hibernate. These annotations are provided by JPA. And here I will say table name equals to EMP. What I have said, table name equals to EMP, right? Table name equals to EMP. Now if I am running the app, create table EMP. Are we doing any operation here? Yes. So we should stop these operations. Now table is getting created by the name EMP. But previously written table is also available. The previously written table employee is also available. You have to drop it manually. But you now operations will be done in EMP table. No data will go to employee. It is just wasted. So that is how you can control the table name. I will give you the definition of all these annotations. This is just practical I am showing you. Now let's say this ID you are writing normally here, but you want that whenever this particular column is getting created in table, there it should be EMP underscore ID. So here you can write one annotation that is column. Same way, column name equals to emp underscore id. Column name equals to emp underscore id. We'll just run it. emp id. Now if I am checking the description of emp table, that column is coming with the name emp id, right? emp id. Let's say in this particular field, I am having one private string address as well. I am having one field as private string address. But I don't want this address to be a column in my table. I don't want to add the employee's address. So what I can do, I can make it an annotation transient. Transient. If I am making this address as transient, now it will not go to database. It will float here only. Even if you are setting the address, it will not go. Right? If we check the description of table again, there is no address field here. Why? Because we have made it transient. Now, whenever this table is getting created, email is having length 255. Name is having 255. We should control this. So same way, this employee.java email. So what we will do, we'll say at the rate of column, and here you can provide the value that length equals to whatever length you want, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever. Error. Okay, it takes int value. Length equals to 30. We'll run the app again. Check the description of table. Now email is having the length as 30. So these annotations only the game player here. There's nothing else. And what is more important here? Okay. We have others as well. Yes, order one to one, one to many. We have many now. I am just thinking what I can show you right now, which is needed here. Have you noticed that when I am creating the field, my ID is the first field, name is the second field, then mobile number, then email ID, and then salary. But there we are getting ID, salary, email, mobile, and name. So at first, int type value will come. Then string type of value, that too in order of their alphabetical E, M, N. So we will change this by giving the order value, and lot of annotations are there that we will see. Those are called JP annotation. Even these all things I will give you in dedicated notes. This is just if somebody was thinking that how it will be done. So like this it will be done. Transient, in which case can it be used where the column is ignored? There are lot of cases. Generally, whenever you are enrolling yourself as a student, I remember that when I was enrolling in my college, they took my blood group report, that which blood group I am having. They took the details of my eyesight at that time. Now, I think that these are the two data they will not maintain. They are just taking it because the university has given them some standards that you have to take the student's blood group, you have to take their eyesight, that at what number they are having at that time. So this, whenever you are taking the students data, let's say you are taking these values, you are taking their name, you are taking their age, mobile number, email address, their address, their Aadhaar card, and their blood group. Now this blood group is a case that university is saying that take students blood group as well, and I have given my blood group details to my college, and they are maintaining only these things in their regular records. This blood group they have kept in our separate files, so we can make this blood group as transient, that we will take from student and we will throw it, and we will sell this papers at 7 rupees per kg, like they are selling our assignments and all those. So these kind of informations that they can kept as transient, they will not maintain this data. Okay, and other values are there whenever you are enrolling yourself as an employee somewhere. So again, same way, name, age, Aadhaar card information, your PAN card, your account details, and your work history. And in one of my organization I have also given my family details, that how many family members I am having. And okay, one, they will check your relationship status, whether you are single, married, widow, or something like that, and they will keep that transient relationship status. They will note that 110% they will check your relationship status at that time. 110%. If it's a good organization, they are paying good, they will check your status whether you are single, married, unmarried, widow, or whatever. They can, and then they will make it transient. What they will do with this? Just their standards are there, so they are taking this data. There are a lot of other examples as well that you can be transient. Okay, so let's understand some of the differences between update and create method. So at first we'll discuss about update method. Already I have written, but let's say update method will check if the table is available or not, and it will create a table in case table is not present. If we are adding any column, update method will add that column into our database table. But there is a problem also, and the problem is, but if we are removing any column from, if we are removing any field from class, if we are removing any field from class, then update method will not remove that column from table. That is your update method. And when we are talking about create method, it's so simple. as it always creates the new table. So at first it will check the table and drop the table if it exists, and then create a fresh new table. Now, even if you are adding a column or removing a column, no problem, because every time it is creating a new table, it doesn't care. So, every single time it will create a new table. Understood? Create an update. Any update method using the column means in update method using add the column. Lucky, what does it mean? In update method using add the column. Can you please specify your question? Like what you want to ask? Okay, let me say you one thing. We can add column in table. Arey, read the second point of update method. What I have written here, read the second point. Today you have a task to create your Hibernate application. Just create the table. Don't add any data. Just create a Hibernate application which is just creating the table. I will give you notes, means these details and my zip file. Now let's understand one thing. I am on the update method and employee table is already there. I will start the application, and so obviously it will not create the table. What I will do here, I will add the field of you can say address. So here I have added the field of address. So as we are saying update method will add this column. So table has changed. Now if I am removing this particular address field and start the application again, so it is not writing any query. And even if I'm checking the description of employee or which table, employee, because now we have removed the table annotation. So here we are still getting the address field because it will not remove. But we can try one particular logic here. What if I am making this address as transient? Like this. What if I am making this address as transient now and update method is working? No query is written by the way, right? And what if we are checking our table? It is still there. So transient annotation will work when database, the method is updating the things. So we have to use create and update accordingly. Right? Now, this address field is transient and it is supposed to be hidden from database. Actually, we have others here. Create, delete. There is one particular method, create, delete, that we will see now to solve this particular problem. Okay? There is lot more to discuss here. Don't worry. I hope when you are coming tomorrow, you will be done by creating the Hibernate application, which is at least creating the table. I will remove all extra things. And from here also I will remove all these things. Or I will comment this entire code. If you face any error in doing any particular operation, you can ping me. Fine, guys. We'll connect again tomorrow. Have a nice time, everyone. Bye bye. Take care.